and welcome to Critical Tumble, where a bunch of longtime friends and internet nerds transcend geography through the power of Discord to play Dungeons and Dragons, and critically fumble a lot. As you can see, we have a returning special guest. Clarity returns to us in a brief moment as they pass through Belarys. It seemed an appropriate and adequate time to do so. But let's recap what everybody else has been doing, more or less, and carry on from there. The Cupcake Coterie, in its current incarnation, with sort of adopting rangers and barbarians as they happen to. It's like one of those Katamari Dossi balls rolling around and picking things up as they go. Have finished their business in the desert wastes of Alamaver, which is just as well, really, because they've kind of pissed off the dragon that governs the province on numerous levels. They've managed to awaken something in an old temple to Tiamat. They've managed to wake up a Dracolich, and while they destroyed its body, they don't know where its phylactery is. They've collected 2 apparently powerful magical artifacts with no idea precisely what they do, and handed them over to each one to a different archfey. Darvin has been cursed so that once per day he turns into a rabbit. Remy has made the sort of inadvertent pact with Baylor through their various attempts to resurrect a friend who kind of took on a very large red dragon and won. And a few people are kind of shaken by the various things they heard, saw, and otherwise discovered in an old temple to Nerol. This is the state of people as they... Ah, good, we have our warlock back. One of our warlocks back. Yeah, we rejoin them on the airship heading out of Alzor High to Belarys. Is there anything any of y'all want to do on that airship?
Offering Alice her cash back.
Well, I suppose this covers the, because I actually, it's just points at sort of the captain's cabin, because none when she said I'm gonna get us passage on the ship, none of y'all thought what that was gonna cost, and she's not telling.
Remind me, what weapon does Alice use? Is it an axe or is it a sword?
Yes.
Okay. Does anyone use a sword? Not really.
Well, Alice can. She just currently has an axe.
Okay. No, but I was going to do a bit of sparring, maybe, to sort of get more familiar with the family sword.
What about that dagger?
I can do that too, but get you more familiar with using handheld weapons rather than bow.
Yeah, that's... I mean, you still don't... Let's face it, you still don't have proficiency, but...
No.
And it does get a little bit choppy on occasion, so... Remy's kind of used to it because she's been on longer airship trips than this. Usually with whole bunches of military people who, obviously want to keep in trim because they're going to be landing on the ground and fighting a really ugly, bloody war. So she manages a fair bit better than... I mean, Remy kind of remembers when she was staggering around with a sword like that, and... I mean, it's up to her how she reacts, but Ava's kind of stick them with the pointy end.
Well, I never learned to use a sword, really, so...
Ramio, go easy on her. Try to give her a pointer or two.
Not literally.
God. You're still on my shit list, Ben. Don't.
All right.
Anyway, anything else anyone wants to get up to on the airship trip?
besides handing cash and watching Ava get
Her ass handed
kind
to
of
her?
get bludgeoned
Hey.
and possibly helping.
I'm probably out on like just standing at the rail watching everything go by because I mean, when's the next time I'm gonna see this?
I'm avoiding the rail because I know I'm clumsy.
Yeah. Alice spends a lot of time at the rail, largely because, it's been like 7, 8 years since I've been back. And, there's the parents thing, and
I'm giving her all the space.
well,
Remy
no,
will.
she actually seeks Darvin out to just sort of, occasionally ask, like, how things change, etc. Asks
Oh, you
Remy
mean
as well, but
you mean with Belarys?
yeah.
Yeah, Remy does actually want to slide up to her at some point.
Well, you've got 3 days, so.
At some point when she's sitting at the rail being contemplative, and Remy will join her and be contemplative in spirit alongside her for a bit.
Yeah, I mean, she has Darvin like stuff, and I'd never been there before. I don't know. It's what it was when I saw it. I don't know. I don't know how it's different. It wasn't different. It was new. I don't know.
It's just
Okay.
Pat.
Yeah,
After,
basically.
after chilling with Alistair for a while, she'll eventually speak up. How do you want to approach things in Belarys?
Dude, I don't know. I mean, I don't think there's any chance that people are not going to hear that someone like me is back. I kind of stand out. And that's without foomp. All I know is what I'm gonna do, which is I have obscene amounts of money to burn, and I know exactly what I'm going to do with a goodly chunk of it. Darvin was a little about this, so Arcane Ink's still there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, good, because they do a thing that lets you fly, and 1 minute just is not enough. But beyond that, if somebody makes trouble, I give trouble back. And if you guys want to launch in on it, there's no logistical way I can stop you. You in particular,
No.
retribution
No,
god.
there is not.
Yeah,
But
among many other reasons, but yeah.
if we do come to your parents face to face, it's your call as to how that goes down.
It's kind of theirs, really. But
True.
the way I figure it is, at the very least, we subdue them, and how it goes depends on what bullshit they try with you guys. I mean, they've already tried to kill me. There's no worse than that.
I know, and
But
whatever.
we'll
That happens, I will back whatever you think is the right choice.
Thank you. We'll just have to see, frankly. I mean, I don't really want to start a brawl in Belarys streets, but if memory serves, if they're attacking and trying to kill an adventuring group for no discernible good reason, which they wouldn't have, we can do more or less what we want.
Well, we are on much better terms with the governor of Belarys.
Well,
fortunately.
let's hope so, because I imagine word has spread. I vaguely recall Jarl Fortinbras not suffering fools gladly.
Last time we were there was an incident with my former captain, and
Oh boy.
we were given a free pass to handle it.
Well, let's hope that
Not
wasn't your
how I had planned to, but
Yeah. Well, let's hope
that
that wasn't your one get out of jail free card.
oh, that's a good point.
We'll see how. Like I say, we'll see how it goes. Judgment in Belarys is swift and usually fair, if memory serves.
Mm-hmm.
So,
there is also my parents, who are much nicer to
Well,
start off.
they didn't throw you off an airship landing tower, so they'd
No,
have
they
to
did
be.
not. But I certainly have to check up on them, and there will
Yes.
probably be dinner
Yes.
involved, and
Yes,
you will certainly be invited.
as I recall, you were very insistent before we left that I was meeting your parents. Unfortunately, meeting mine is probably not going to go as well.
Yeah, well,
I mean,
but also
the steel in hands will be utensils, not weapons, with yours.
Thankfully. But also with my parents, what happens or how much is explained is up to you. But I also don't want to.
You don't want
I've
to
been
freak them out.
trying not to make. Yeah, I've already been actively making sure they don't worry more than they are already doing so when I told them I became a paladin.
Sort of glances over to Darwin at the other end of the rail. No, this is quiet. They're trying not to be overheard, but I figure if he's still on the rail, he's way at the other end. It's like looks at him and looks at Hazel doing her sunset exaltations and going. So how'd that work out?
Well, I just told them we're on a quest. It's important.
Yeah, but
I mean,
but Blabbermouth 1 and Blabbermouth 2.
well, we did also briefly have a additional blabbermouth who had provided a distraction. So the dinner went well, mostly.
Okay.
I mean, the main thing is I haven't really told them about dragons or the theoretical end of the world and things like that.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but I am not them. I know that the apocalypse is not dinner conversation. We generally save that for many beers with people who can actually stop it. Yeah, so yeah, don't worry. I'm not going to tell you what. I won't tell them about the end of the world. You try to keep them from mentioning that we met in a brothel.
Yep, that's very fair.
Sort of does the light shoulder bump. It'll be fine. It'll be fine.
I know.
As long as we kind of keep Blabbermouth 1 and Blabbermouth 2 from blurting things. We'll work on that.
Yeah, we'll make do.
And the trip continues. Clarity.
Yes.
It's been nearly a month since the group left. Your first week, the first thing that you found was that Darwin had paid for that one last week you had to stay at the Bravo's Boast. Yeah,
I'll pay you back one day.
Next time, Gadget.
Yeah, you settled in with Andre in a rather splendid house, rooftop garden, massive library. Speaking of, you as soon as you moved in, you took possession of your shiny library card and discovered that while you have all the books, you really don't have that much of an idea where to start. So this is going to take a while. Sensible, if slightly in the first week or two overzealous studying. Later, Andre does insist on dragging you out. Like, you need to hear the goings on. We're going to sit, we're going to have dinner, we're going to listen to a few bards. It's going to be a thing. Which is how she starts hearing some stories that may very vaguely remind her of the folks that have gone off further adventuring. There's a really interesting sort of comedy ballad that's basically according to them, there was this rabbit that was so much in love with music that the god of music turned him into a bard. Except so that he does not forget his bunny roots, he has to go back to bunny form every so often. So yes, you have the bunny bard. Then you have the fire eater cleric of Alzor High, who apparently it it sounds like it's hyperbolic, but there's talk of this cleric who will one day eat the fires of hell and return the hell plane to a slightly more paradisey kind of state. There's one that was popularized about a week before the now, which was the guardian angel of warrior airspace, basically, which involved this one. It doesn't really remind you of them because it's someone you know, but it sounds like something they do. Basically, it talks about a woman who basically went up against a very large red dragon one-on-one. Angel apparently comes from Lady Got Wings, a very large axe and a very loud yelling voice, and a very good hand with swearing. So yeah, stories and songs like that have been going along for the last week or so, and but it's a routine. You've got study, lunch at the lunch in the market, dinner either at home or at the Bravos Boast, depending, because it's a nice enough place. The first week, Maeva and Gelfred from Arcane Inc. Had a bit of a talk with you about what you can expect growing up tiefling.
Okay.
Because they got the impression from the story of the ocean hag that there were things you could do that it might be better if you didn't trip over them. Apparently somebody overheard a little bit about how Froseth learned his ice breath, so they decided not to let you in for that too much more. But yeah, any bits and pieces that a tiefling eventually starts being able to do, you're at least peripherally aware of now. And there's various stories about the people how to tell someone who is prejudiced against tieflings from 50 paces, how to tell someone who has a kink for tieflings at 50 paces.
I'm familiar with both, unfortunately.
Yeah. And Gelfred's right. It's the ones who are both you really want to watch out for.
Yes.
Wow.
In any case, these guys land a little bit after dinner, but the logical place to head is the Bravos Boast because they're known, the price is good, and most of the recommendations that Sigwald made when you first arrived were a little pricey and sounded a bit not what you guys are up for, really. And yeah, Clarity is finishing up dinner with a book, probably. And these guys walk in. Darvin, Remy, Nye, Hazel, Froseth, with two people that you have never seen before. One sounds a lot like the woman in that song they will not stop singing about the warrior angel, complete with the double-headed great axe strapped across her back, and another human with white hair and a scar across her cheek with a sword and a bow strapped to her back, and they're fairly clearly all the same group at this point. And yeah, you guys, Clarity with the blue hair is not hard to spot. Although Darvin spots her, and as soon as he does, rabbit.
Okay. At this point, I'm so excited to see Clarity. I don't even like notice. I don't even notice. I'm just bouncing across the floor toward Clarity.
Yeah, you see Darvin.
Far behind.
Oh,
And
Darwin.
and
I'm
then you
trying to like hop up, like.
then you are reminded of the Ballad of the Bunny Barge.
Yeah, that's Darwin.
Right about then is where I go
there's also another
hypersonic.
pixie or
Ah!
something.
I take it you know this person. Hi.
Yeah, and everyone's hearing the.
And Alice just claps a hand over Hazel's mouth. Breathe. Please stop. I have eardrums. Also, Flitty is on top. Flitty is on top of Frosa's head, and for some reason, Flitty is currently green. They're supposed to change color the other way.
I don't know the two of you. Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Clarity.
Alice.
Your friends.
Hi.
Because I don't think Nye was with us in
Yeah,
Belarys.
she's.
Nice.
Yeah, he was. He met you guys in Belarys.
That's what I forgot. Sorry.
It's like, and Alice turns around to Ava, going, this is pretty clearly Clarity. You know, the tiefling they talk about like constantly.
Right. Sorry. I know
Nah,
that.
that's okay. It's been a long trip.
Clarity.
We have heard a lot about you. Look, you guys sit to catch up. I'll
Darvin.
Yeah,
cover.
that's a long story.
I'll cover rooms for a couple of days. We can settle up later, and heads to Maury at the bar.
This is like, who does Darvin get handed to?
I'm just holding him up like
I'll
explanation,
take him.
please.
And Flitty lands on
Squirm,
Clarity's
squirm,
head.
squirm.
Hello!
Stop squirming.
Hi, Flitty. You're green.
Yeah, that's a long story. Unrelated. I bit a Dracolich.
Oh,
Yeah, but I'm
Congratulations.
gonna say by this time you've picked up Sylvan
okay.
with help from Andre.
Congratulations.
I didn't do it a lot of damage. I made it go blind with that light color thing you did.
Oh.
But the Remy lady went right through its skull. Crunch.
A Dracolich?
It's a lich that's a dragon.
Yeah, that's very scary dragon thing. Yeah.
It was not fun, I will admit.
The warlock man was real brave at it. His aim was really bad, but he was real brave at it.
The thought that counts, maybe.
Well, I guess the next time these guys hear me tell something I've got 2 words for it, they'll know what's coming.
Yeah, holes in the ceiling.
I am right next to
Well,
Clarity
I
now and
mean-
basically vibrating.
I think she wants to hug you. She asks now.
I forgot I'm a bunny. So there we go.
There's, hugs from Hazel pretty clearly.
You don't have to ask Hazel, you know that.
No. Don't crush her, Hazel. Be careful.
Or me, for that matter.
Yeah.
Wasn't handed to
It was
Ava.
with me, wasn't you?
Oh, I got handed off? Okay, I didn't catch that. Sorry. I was trying to snuggle the one I haven't seen in forever.
It has been so too long. Too long.
I know you guys have been just. I mean, I've been studying and lost a little bit of track of time, but it's been. I've missed you guys very much.
You too.
Yeah,
So much.
with the exception of Froseth, they're all kind of, you know, that kind of deep tan, kind of weather beaten looking, and they've been ambling around deserts for a while, and it shows. You guys will have noticed a distinct chill in the air. By the way, we're getting towards mid to late autumn now, so.
Rough time.
Everything in that desert wants to eat everything else, and therefore it is all poisonous and made of stabby.
Yeah, I would do
Even
the whole picture.
cactuses.
I would do the whole picture show thing, but I really don't want to freak out the other people here.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Remy sort of actually Remy will remember, where probably the rest of you guys won't. This is an entire tavern full of mercenaries, and a lot of them have been in the southern lands. They've seen worse.
They've punched weirder.
It's been a long couple of
Yes,
weeks,
they have.
for sure.
Night. Sure, the thing from the first bit of stuff you got for the Archfey, the skeletal thing with the goo everywhere.
He didn't see that.
He didn't get to see it before it got
Oh,
squished.
right. I was in that little what do you call
Alcove.
niche? Yeah, whatever you call it. I was still in there as as Alice pretty much took it apart. Remember, I
Oh,
came charging
right.
out. Eldritch blood. Oh.
then sure, the Draco-Lich. That thing was big and angry and blue and made of laser vomit.
Yeah,
yes.
Alice comes back with a flagon of ale and mugs for all. Yeah, it was big, but I didn't get the killing blow on it. Remember, Remy sheared right through its knee joint and positioned herself so crunch, she went right through the skull. She seems to like doing that with unfeasibly large skeletal things.
Anything big, she just kind of takes its head and makes it go splat.
Silent image. Silent image. Small gazebo, small elf, big dragon skeleton thing.
Yeah, I got my licks in, but she just crunch. Yeah, Nye unfortunately didn't see how that one finished up because
I was kind of roast elf at that point.
he was kind of indisposed and requires of revivify.
That reminds me, we got to pick up more diamonds.
Yeah.
You died?
Temporarily?
What part of laser vomit did you miss?
I wasn't the only one either.
I mean,
It's
you're here, so I didn't want to assume you had died.
So
You know, they
Process
wouldn't
and I
leave.
were also in the line of fire, so that was not fun. I'm still
Yeah.
feeling a little tingle.
You know they wouldn't leave. Well, none of us would leave any of the rest of us dead if we had a choice.
Yeah, believe me.
Significant look at Alice.
Yeah, believe me. There's some shit I'm not talking about in a tavern, but let's just say they go the extra mile to make sure their friends survive.
And
Significant look at Remy.
Remy just drinks.
and I mean, looking
just-
around the table.
I just
Looking
picture
around the table
significant
now.
look TM, you know.
Yeah. No, looking around the table
There's-
now, it actually it's not that bad being. I mean, you're
Not
separated from your body. Sure, but I
Another
mean,
word. Shut. Face. Shut.
Then there's the
Believe me, you don't stay just untethered from your body for long. That's why there's some spells that you can only use within a minute.
yeah, Revivify is a do it fast, or things go.
Or souls go.
That's what I was getting.
Yes, but you were missing the words again, so actually we
I'm
can
bad at
actually
words. I'll
Yes,
get
I know.
better eventually.
That's why I am helping you find them.
Thanks.
I kind of got used to them. You may have noticed.
then there was the angry cactus.
Oh god, yes, those.
You ran
like-
into those little fuckers? Oh god.
Yes, we
Yeah,
did.
yeah. The pointy bits hurt a lot more than they should.
Yeah, they
What's
kind of.
that statement?
See, they had all the fun. I just got a dragon.
I mean, you were
Dang.
living in the temple of Nerul.
clarity. Remember the vine blights?
Yeah, I
That
remember them
again.
quite well.
That again, but with cacti.
Shooting-
Succulent blights.
We call
Needles.
them spine blights. Their needles are venomous, and the pain that the venom causes is enough to stun somebody, like lock them up and paralyze. Some real freaks in the desert nomad clans actually use the spines as blow dart weapons. I'm just glad we didn't run into any of those.
And, well, he is now a bunny.
Yeah,
Every
you
day.
haven't explained that yet, and
That's something
You
that
just-
part of the explanation is a unfortunate related to leadership things.
You're in on certain things about local government.
Yes. I am familiar with the nature of our
Yeah,
government.
we'll leave it at local government, because
Yes.
the reason that he's a rabbit is because he and Hazel told me without asking permission first,
Ooh.
and then went up and out admitted it while asking for favors on my behalf to a really temperamental member of local government who turned around to the rest of local government to decide what was to be done with him, and apparently he now turns into a rabbit once a day until he sufficiently proves himself.
Oh. How does one prove himself?
We're not 100%
Still
sure.
working on that.
Oh.
Possibly.
He's cute though.
Yeah. He's the same. He's the same lop as he was when the pixies turned him. And I know most of this secondhand. I was trying to get out of their collective hair at the time, which is when the dragon thing happened. That was fun. I soloed it though.
Oh, she did.
Yeah, that's where we got pulling
Yeah.
out the dragon's tooth. These things.
Yeah, her armor too. I got a pretty penny out of that. Partly from the bits and pieces that we harvested, and partly from local government who decided that I was probably just as well not being in that particular part of the country, because I think Froseth said something about only being room for one alpha bitch in the province.
That's what she said.
So apparently I really impressed local government. Who knew?
Oh. Well, good on you.
Yeah.
Yeah, if
Also,
also because full disclosure, before we meet people that we don't want to be full disclosing to, parental units, for example. On that subject, I was born here, but haven't been back in a while because my parents are criming assholes who threw me off an airship dock.
That's not.
No, and they said if they ever saw me again, they would probably kill me. So if you get involved in any kind of criminal stabby attempts, I apologize in advance.
they tried that. We killed them.
Excuse me, I was told that I could actually have some say in the disposition of the people. How about we
Yes,
subdue
that's
them?
all she
What
does.
she means is they won't get away with it without.
Yeah, we can you know, I know that you've been in Alzor High and surrounding areas a while, and the only way to subdue a lot of that stuff is to kill it, but
Yeah, not
There
killing's
are-
not necessarily the answer.
yeah, there are ways to subdue people without killing them. Knocking them unconscious is a good one. Honestly, I wouldn't mind seeing them
However,
work the Southern Land
we don't-
stables for the rest of their
however-
lives.
There's no harm in having them suffer a little.
I think given how hard it actually is to knock someone unconscious, that's gonna happen. Besides, I've been learning a few tricks. Some of them from our bunny friend here. Indirectly.
Oh boy, that's gonna be interesting to see.
Indeed.
So,
Right.
yeah, it's actually really good to meet you. I have heard so many things.
Yeah, they
good
tell
to
us a lot
meet
about you.
Oh, good things, I hope.
Oh yeah.
The best thing. Only best. Clarity is best.
It's you guys.
And more hugs from me. I'm near magnetized to you at this point. Also, I clank a bit more.
Yeah, she's
Onto
wearing
chest
a
plate.
breast. Yeah, the one thing you forgot last session against the scorpions is that your armor is
Yeah,
resistant
I
to
realized that
poison.
immediately afterwards.
Oh well, I'm not keeping track of your shit anymore.
Yeah, if I miss a thing, that's on me.
I'm flagging it up as a cautionary tale.
You got your beefier armor, Hazel.
Yep. Also learned a few shiny spells.
Oh,
Well,
good.
asked Aelor for shiny spells, and well, this happened, and I'm casting Shield of Faith on Clarity just because.
There's
So now
glowy.
you have an aura around you.
What's it do?
Well, it gives you clank without being clank, and I'm like tapping on the aura and actually hearing a tink, tink, tink.
I'd offer to demonstrate, but we've had it proven that I kind of, I'm battle-wise, I'm kind of a beast.
Yeah, Alizé just kind of takes armor and ignores it.
I mean, someone who solos a dragon can only be a beast. I'm just saying.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
but I did it smart. I let gravity do most of the work.
Took out the wings and just.
Yeah, unfortunately, it caught me through the chest on the way down.
Fortunately, we showed up.
That's very true. Although I'm wondering at how many of you still think that's fortunate. That's apparently kind of why Flitty's green now.
It was very fortunate.
That led to all kinds of things involving meeting the in-laws.
Hazel.
Several different flavors of in-laws and
Shush,
that
Hazel.
need to.
Let's not overwhelm Clarity, Hazel.
I feel like there's several long stories going on at once.
Yeah,
Just a few.
Yeah.
but I think I can probably sum up at least this one. You, as far as I understand, you live in libraries and like absorb books the way gelatinous cubes absorb like everything. Have you ever
more or less.
have you ever heard of the Azamar? Make me I guess you could make an Arcana check actually. It's
Okay.
better for you than religion, certainly.
So my
Oh, your sheet. That's right. Hang on. Let me, because I archived it. I didn't remove it. There you go.
Aha.
I figured out I could do that. So
Okay, let's see here. Arcana. Only a 12.
Better than one.
Yeah.
Oh God.
it's actually, to be fair, it's probably something that you would have come across more likely than some of these guys, because Azamar are to celestial beings what tieflings are to demons. That's about as far as Clarity knows about that.
So, like me, only not infernal and quite the opposite.
Pretty much,
Right.
yeah. When this one says the in-laws, she's doing her usual take everything to its farthest possible conclusion, and then about 3 miles further thing. basically, they got approached by the being who introduced the spark that made me more than human.
Ooh.
This is apparently a big deal in service of Palor or something.
Praise Pelor.
That led to some interesting complications when they broke various magical rules to get me resurrected.
Oh, you died too then?
Sorry, did I not mention Dragonclaw directly through the chest?
Well, again, I didn't want to assume.
Yeah, no, that and the fall. I'm tough, but I think you'd have to be a lot tougher than any humanoid has any right to be to survive that. But no, they found me apparently about a day later, and
Oh.
basically shook divine powers until they gave me back.
If I do that again, I'm gonna die.
Yeah, she channeled a bit too much divine.
Hazel.
I would have told her not to. I was not in any position to argue.
To be fair, she wouldn't have listened.
Most likely not, no.
That's a good point.
Things, it's just kind of my shtick.
Yeah, you'll be able to actually do it without becoming
Toasting myself inside and out.
Yeah. There you go. See, you're not that bad with words.
Oh, the Palor's sun, and since his divine energy is sun-like, I'd be burning myself. Not just things.
Then again, you seem to be practicing for the day that happens anyway, given what you eat.
That was good stuff. That was really good stuff. But, okay. Clarity, remember the green...
No, she wasn't
stuff?
with you for the lunch.
Darn it. Well, there's this... how do I describe it? What's the spiciest thing you've had here?
Here? Don't know, but I remember there was that stuff in what's that place that Sigwald was from?
Oh, Gray's Inn.
Yeah, well,
Gray's
didn't we
Inn.
have something
Yeah.
super spicy
Yeah,
there?
you had a curry, but to be fair, in deference to Baron's Veer taste buds, it was nowhere near like what Hazel had, and in fact, you have had spicier things here. More of a they do more of a chili sauce-ish kind of stuff, and foods from all over. So you would have tried some various spicy bits. And to be fair, you probably did at least try the sushi. When the last time Torin passed through, he introduced you to Millicent's, which is basically a Belarys sushi bar.
Oh.
So you are familiar with wasabi, but there's a whole ranges of moderately spicy to not to the extremes Hazel has, no, but
Take whatever the strongest thing is, like let's say the green stuff. You've been to the sushi place?
Mhm.
They like that green stuff, but make it like 16 to 17 times stronger, at least.
Wow.
I couldn't feel my face for a few minutes. It was great.
Great. I mean, it doesn't sound great, but I'll take
And
your
then
word
there's-
for it.
And there's that stuff that Alice added to the stew that one night, and that was good.
yeah, I after I had to leave here, I was up north around the Demille area for a while, and it's where I learned to fight, mostly anyway. But they have this thing called burn lichen. It goes in several of our dishes, and it'd be spicy. Basically, if it's spicy, she will devour it.
Beaming.
You sure you don't have fire resist? thing.
No, that's Ava. She's wearing the skin of the dragon I murdered,
Oh,
and carrying a dagger made out of its tooth too.
I need to get the spear
Nice.
tweaked so there's a dragon tooth on that too.
It's I gave them each one of the teeth. It's a thing, a northern thing. It symbolizes bonds of friendship that make actual debt insignificant.
I know that feeling.
With these guys, I imagine you would. Yeah.
They grow on you
You're
fast.
muted, Ben. Oh, okay. So you're just mouthing things. I'm gonna make you stop doing that.
I remember the ocean hag. That was great.
I've heard stories about the ocean hag. Looks at now. I bet you made the most adorable sandpiper.
Silent image sandpiper.
Yeah, see, adorable.
Silent image, globe of darkness. Silent image, sandpiper becomes elf. Ah, splat.
Yeah, Darvin told me that one when he was a little less
Fortunately,
bunnified.
Fortunately, I missed her because she was inside that darkness.
Yeah, I've met some people who could do that. Some tieflings, some not. But
Yeah, it was a thing that had just cropped up suddenly. Apparently, tieflings can do that once they become a little bit more magically attuned.
well,
Anything else new?
puppy.
Any new magical stuff? Lean.
Not currently, but I'm studying quite a lot. It's only been a few weeks. Give me another few, and I might have a few new spells.
Yes, I understand. The library at the university is on the inside the approximate size of some countries. So give her some time, yeah.
That place had worlds inside it. Why did it have worlds inside it?
To quote you, dearie, have some faith, whether it's in magic, gods, or whatever.
Oh, in that case, okay.
As you can see, I've kind of learned to speak Hazel.
It's good language.
She's sometimes she's infuriating, but there's an enthusiasm there that I can deal with any amount of infuriating so long as she doesn't lose that enthusiasm. Besides, she's learning pretty fast.
Yeah, there's things that were learned, and now I'm turning the color of a tomato.
Do I get anything about what that's about?
Insight check.
Like, she's just
Sure.
squeaking and turning the color of a tomato.
Is Hazel trying for deception at this point, or
No, just
insight check from
I
Clarity?
don't think she's capable of actual deception.
be surprised what she's actually able to do, but she just doesn't.
I thought I clicked it. Go. 18.
Nice.
Yeah. Given that, and this is a. I have learned things to do with women that I don't want to tell you about because of the smooching and oh, Paylor, what now? And Alice A is just sort of leaning, going, for full disclosure, I met these guys when I was working in a place called the Tipsy Pixie, which you've heard of the Rosenbauer here? Kind of like that, but combine it with the Bravo's Boast.
Oh.
I wanted out, so I wanted out, and I thought Remy was hot stuff, so I asked to join them on their adventures. And then all this happened.
Oh.
No, you met them in. No, you met them in. You met them actually in the quiver in one of the brass arrow bars.
Right. My apologies.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went on their first adventure, actually finished the job of killing the thing they'd been sent to kill, and I'm still not a brass arrow because the alpha bitch thing. Which is fine, because I think she's a mare anyway. And I'm actually not afraid to say that because I shouted it in her face.
Yes, she did.
Hazel is bright red speaking, so hasn't noticed any of this.
Hey, Hazel. I think she kind of gets the idea. Why don't you let her respond to that in any way she's going to before you, like, combust with whatever conglomeration of emotions is happening.
I was
going to
say implode, but combust works too.
Yeah, with her, it's always Pelor's fire, so woof.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
Oh,
The patting and just swivel. Okay. Just kind of sitting there trying not to speak, but also bright fucking red.
Drink your beer,
Right.
Hazel.
I drink my beer also.
Yeah, she did actually pick up the Golden Dale brew. And there's poor Darvin sitting on the table because he's 2-hour bunny.
Reaching over and scritching Darvin.
Can bunnies drink beer?
I would not
No.
advise
I
it.
don't think
Big sad bunny eyes.
No, but
We'll save you a mug, Darvin. Okay.
yeah. It's
How
only a
long
few
does
hours.
this last?
It varies.
Yeah.
It's usually just a few hours.
Random.
We were
And so
very
far-
lucky last time. It happened during a fight. Thankfully, he didn't get hit by anything. He had
Yeah,
the,
it's-
the
Actually-
common sense
actually,
to run away.
Actually, he was already a bunny when the fight started. He
Right,
turned
right.
back when it was over.
Oh.
Yeah.
No, sorry, he
Yeah,
turned
it's-
back before it was over, and did actually
Yeah,
help out.
We've basically managed to, avoid that situation mostly.
We wrangle the bunny stuff.
So it's not like a polymorph then. He's actually
It's worse.
bunny.
Well,
Inspirational
take that.
bunny.
Yeah, take the inspirational bunny thing, except now that if he goes splat while he's a bunny, he doesn't turn back, he just goes splat.
Oh.
And
Hence
if we,
why we didn't want it to happen during a fight.
yeah,
Yeah.
there's some other stuff as well, like we can't lift the curse or worse shit happens, and that kind of thing. Basically, when you piss off local government, you piss off local government.
Apparently.
Politicians are like that.
Well, from the story I did eventually get in bits and pieces, if you throw a hissy fit in their throne room, and then kind of start a slight shoving match, you're probably not making the best impression when you've already pissed them off.
Yeah.
Poor guy.
Pretty-
I feel bad about this because he was only trying to, help me. These yahoos have done far too much in the cause of helping me.
Darvin Bunny just very, 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 very shamefaced. Being reminded of his very bad behavior.
Scritches, Darvin.
I'm checking. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I'm looking over at the bar to see if the twins are up and
The
about.
twins are doing their thing, and actually managed to pause with glasses in the air long enough to wave once without dropping anything.
I'll be right back. I'm getting up and headed over there.
In unison. Hi! Welcome
Hey.
back!
I missed you. I missed you guys. You guys do anything in Mango?
You broke up there.
Do you guys do anything in Mango?
Little costly, from Jed. But yeah, we keep it in stock. Why?
Can we get like one for everyone and then one for the bard when he stops being a rabbit?
How long is it gonna be? Says Jed. Because those things melt, says Jazz.
I don't know. The best I can guess is maybe would it be possible to just start when he stops being a bunny for that?
And in unison, we were gonna say.
Yeah. Okay. Pulling out. I'm pulling 2 platinum and plunking them down.
They slide one back to you. We'll in unison. We'll make change.
Do I see that? That she put
Probably not. No. The Bravo's boast is a lot more raucous than the Tipsy Pixie is, as you can see from the map. It's a spot that's basically there for mercenaries, proper military mercenary types. Not so much in the way of music, etc., but more, they're coming in and some are sitting, lamenting losses in battle. Some are celebrating promotions. It's loud and it's noisy, and you will, however, notice that the table is getting looks, because just as Clarity has heard the various songs, so has just about everybody else in this fucking bar.
Do any of them look like hostile? Or
no, they mostly look impressed. They're amused but impressed at Darwin, because any being who is favored enough by the gods to get that kind of favor, quote unquote, is probably something interesting. Hazel's getting, just amused grins, and Alice is getting, oh no, she's hot too, looks.
So after I've handed that off to the twins, I'm like, "Thank you guys," and running back over to the table of the gaggle.
Is Ava getting
Mango occupied?
The songs about Ava are still filtering through the mill at the moment, and to be fair, she's been a little more cagey about who she is and where she comes from.
True.
And nobody saw me being polite in the face of danger enough to make up a song about it.
Nope. Not yet. Anyway, you've now got a couple of bards that.
I've turned up. So we're getting mango occupied.
How the hell did you start calling the slush drinks occupieds anyway?
Points at Nye.
You
Wait,
actually
it was
did.
Me?
Yeah. You actually.
I saw.
You had the whole clever thing off the top of your head that didn't result in
Dragon.
Yeah, that too. there were too many things.
He saw me drinking one, and I was very distracted by it, and called it a strawberry occupied, and that sort of, well, they're occupied now.
It stuck.
Okay, well, yeah, okay. For the record, I just wanted to say, I've splurged a little bit on rooms. We've got Firthith, Darwin, and Nye can share, because there is a comfy chair in one, I made sure. Ava and Hazel can share one, and Remy and I are sharing, and don't worry, we're well away from you guys.
So if something goes thud and the whole place shakes,
Hazel,
I check anyway.
It's less about her and more about Remy being wowed so hard she falls over.
I don't think Remy falling over is going to shake the whole building. So if the building shakes, you look and make sure what's going on, okay?
Okay.
I think we would do that if that happened, yeah.
Darwin's just like this.
I mean, it's the difference between
I pat Darwin like I know.
It's the difference between one big thud and several small thuds.
Oh dear God!
Not you, Nye, please.
Yeah, at which point I'm sorry. She takes her half full tankard and directly over Nye's head.
Well, he needs
I
that
deserve
now.
that. I did deserve that.
Let's just
He's about as wise as you are strong. So, looking at Clarity, he's about as wise as you are strong.
Noted.
Let's just refrain from insensitive comments.
How about let's just ask your friend who you haven't seen in a month how she is, and I'm pretty sure that there's some shit that's happened as far as I can remember. And this is just me talking off the top of my head here. When you guys had to leave her behind, it was mostly on the condition that she would feel better and you would feel better if she was still helping as well as looking for where Nye and her brother ended up. Darwin filled me in on all this in bits and pieces, and I kind of put it together, mostly. Anyway, some shit has happened. Like, all of it, all at once, as far as I can tell, including Nye's patrons asking for things that maybe we should find out what they are and what they do and how bad it is that we gave them each to a different archfey.
Mm-hmm.
And accidentally spilling blood in a ritual circle to Tiamat and what that might do.
Oh, is that what happened down there?
Oh yeah, it's those wise as she is strong thing again. Okay, yep. And
no, it's the I didn't see that because I was back in the hallway when all that went down.
No, you were actually in the main room at that point. That was a different level than the that was the Umber Hulk. When you guys dragged the Umber Hulk corpse to deal with it, some blood splashed into the circle because you were doing it too close.
And there was that thing that made Remy see things. What was?
Oh yeah, that thing out in the desert. The I'm going to go off into the desert now thing.
Nye actually knows the going out into the desert was his fucking patron. What she heard when she got there was the nasty. So
yeah,
you might want to fill them
which
in.
I saw too. Which I was affected by too.
I was in the middle of that one. So the whole going out into the desert thing, His Majesty actually took credit for that one.
Oh,
why?
Oh.
Because he claims, it was so we would see Alice and be in position to, do what we did.
And here's where I go and pick up dinner because I don't like being the cause of you guys being fucked with. And gets up and stomps over to.
And then then it did something that hit Remy over the head with all the worst stuff. What did you say it was?
That
chained.
The chained oblivion.
Don't overshare stuff that's not yours to share, Hazel.
That's no, that's not the thing. That is a separate issue.
I'm asking for...
Which is a thing.
You're muted anyway, and we can't hear you papping, so... To be fair, they probably can't either.
That is
just
something...
We're
which
supposed to clarity. We were allowed to tell her this stuff. She's the one doing the book research.
But...
Let those concerned...
That is the sort of thing which cannot be named, and more likely than not will not be found in any kind of books. And if it was to be found in a book, it would be very worrying if she could find it in even the most impressive library.
Remy, this is the exact thing we asked her to help with.
I know, but
I was leading into you trying to explaining what it was called, so we could have even a little frame of reference. Better to know something, even minor details and rumors, than nothing at all. All we know is that it did shit to your head and to Ava's head, and that's all.
Yes, and I told the governor, and she said she's aware of that it's buried down there where it's supposed to be, because that is a thing on an entirely different level.
It was leaking. It was leaking.
Yes,
Detective.
Hazel, I know.
And
but we have our own quest
we
for a different
do. I get
godly
it.
level threat.
No, we do, and I get it, but it's still something worth looking into. It's a side thing, but I need to say it anyway. It needs to be known. It can't just be something someone half mumbles and then doesn't say a word on for 3 days on.
That was the point, that it isn't known. It's not known because knowing it gives it power, which is why.
Who
it
told
isn't
you
known.
that?
The clerics of Tritherion. That's the only reason I had an inkling of what it is.
You could have told us that earlier.
In all fairness,
we were a little distracted in the desert.
In all fairness, technically Remy entirely misunderstood that, so it might be worthwhile to talk to clerics and paladins with more experience than Remy before making any final decisions, but it might be a valid point.
That is on the to-do list for a while from now.
At any rate, yeah, we gotta go poke a few more clerics, I think.
That's why we're going to Heaven. Partly why we're going to Heaven's Ward in the future.
Yes, from the top of Clarity's head, because Flitty is still there in Sylvan. Excuse me. Eventually, but the big important thing is Egrev for lightning, and then back to Baronsphere because the first snow is coming. Winter is coming.
I'm a little confused about what all you're talking about.
A lot happened, and you learned to talk Sylvan. Yay!
I did.
That means you can talk to me.
I know. It's close to Elvish, so it wasn't too much of a stretch.
Maybe that means that the Ava lady will learn soon, and more people can talk to me.
I hope so.
Boof. Snuggle.
So, besides all that, there's also the two, as mentioned earlier, there's those two artifacts that went to Nye's patrons. There's this dagger that was on the Dracolich thing that seemingly kept it in the box or under wherever it was buried, and just that sitting there was all that was making sure it didn't start rampaging around again. And then now one of Nye's patrons is that, and then the other thing, we don't know what it does at all. It's just this pendant thing.
Yes, before
I could identify it
if you had them.
Help?
But before we get into full descriptions and that kind of thing, we are reaching about the halfway point. So we'll take a quick break and we'll come back and we'll try to sort out the. And Clarity is now feeling what Alice felt when Darvin and the others were trying to explain everything that had happened before. Although she had it worse because she had like weeks and all of the 2 years of gameplay she had dumped on her head this way. Anyway, I'll see you all in 5 minutes when we continue on. And we're back. Where we are in the Bravo's boast, which is nice and comfy and familiar for these guys after almost a month in the slightly inhospitable, well, with the exception of the Tipsy Pixie, wastes of Alzor High. Talking with Clarity, who they have conveniently, with whom they have conveniently reunited. And Darvin is still a rabbit for at least another hour. Poor sod. They're enjoying dinner, which Alice has brought. It's basically this is proof that you're actually you're out of the desert, because it's not roast gazelle, it's actual beef. And Alice looks over at Darvin and says, "They're gonna make you up a plate when you're human again."
I give him a little scratch behind the ears.
Meantime, she says, "In the meantime, because you're probably gonna be hungry when your stomach becomes human size again," and pulls a little dish of half-boiled carrot.
Just starts funny eating.
At which point she then turns around before. How about this? I know that we're on a bit of a time crunch, but we're going to be in at least one more day. So how about we enjoy a quiet dinner before we bombard Clarity with descriptions of creepy magical artifacts and all the rest of it, and before Remy gets started in too much on dinner. Maybe she could write a note to her parents to be delivered by Flitty so they can be prepared for a whole bunch of us descending on their place.
That is a very good point.
And she says, I thought about this, so I got a quill and parchment from Maury. Here you go.
Thank you.
Warning the in-laws.
This is too good to dump on your head, but you will end up wearing my dinner if you don't shut up.
Yes.
Learn when the joke goes too far. You know that me a little and Remy a bit more, are a little bit more reticent about that kind of thing. Be respectful. Okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
I can stop now.
Good. So yeah, what's Remy gonna say in note?
Just, hi, Mom and Dad. We're in the city again, briefly, but we'll swing by the shop tomorrow afternoon. Maybe come by, maybe be available for dinner if you'd like. See you soon. Love, Remy.
After the various translations and handing to Flitty, he's just cookies, yay!
Thank you, Flitty.
grabs the note in mouth and foomp, out. Alice just turns to Clarity and going, "This kind of got glossed over a little bit, so I have to ask, how did you meet these people?"
Oh, well, we were trying to get Darvin paid.
Yeah, that part I heard, but as I understand it, there was a bar and y'all got kicked out because Hazel put a hammer through crockery.
Yeah, I mean, the crockery didn't deserve it, but these things happen.
They were right. You are adorable.
that was proof one that I'm a klutz.
She has been getting better. She hasn't actually even been using the hammer. She's got a spear now.
The hammer is for something special.
Oh, pointy things then. Interesting.
Yeah, that's part of why I need to get it tweaked.
And I take it you're taking it to your old friend over in Goldendale.
Ideally, yeah.
Well, I guess one more reason to head back sooner rather than later.
And also probably should check in on on the still waters, because Lyra's gonna want to hear family news.
Oh God, the Sweetwaters are still.
That's yeah. The last time we were there was a kerboom or several.
Are you sure they're actually going to want to see you if, as you indicate, you are indirectly responsible for the kerboom?
I want to make sure the house is still there because I don't want it to have gone completely kerboom.
What did you do?
We gave the invent lady some materials and she started making noises like me when on a thing.
I heard something about a net of crispy.
Oh no.
No, you remember, you were in the net of crispy, remember?
If she's making modifications to that, because okay, I was in the dang thing. It ow. Also, tea trays that walked around.
I was about to ask because I've gotten lost in all the names. These are the people with the tea trays. Yes. Silent image, walking tea tray. Bump,
That is
bump,
so
bump.
weird.
I vaguely remember the first attempts at that. They had wheels.
Wait, they had. She's made multiple versions of those things.
Her first attempt wheeled through the various streets and kind of exploded on contact with anything.
What?
She's about my age, so she would have been, you know, low double digits in age, but tinkering
That when
with
she was 12?
something along those lines, I guess. Yeah. Hasn't it ever occurred to you why, despite my name being logically shortened to Allie, I don't?
Because that one.
Because anyone screams Allie in anywhere around here, and most people's immediate reaction is to duck and cover.
Oh boy.
So yeah, I go by Alice A. Anyone shortens it, and they get one warning. One.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna try.
This sprinkles a little bit of her burn lichen on her roast beef and offers to Hazel. Just a pinch. I need to make it last.
Takes a pinch. Roughly the same amount, like trying to mimic the exact same amount Alice.
Yeah. Thank you. Anybody else?
I'm good, thank you.
You probably don't want this as a rabbit, but I'll bring it back out when you get your plate.
Nye, what about you?
I'm good, thanks.
I'll give it a try.
The question is, was that high or low?
I think Clarity wanted to try it.
Yep, and she offers the pouch to Clarity. This is one of the only things that survived my encounter with the dragon. Actually, that's something I need to do. I need to hit the market tomorrow. A couple of new bits of clothes, something a little more suitable for impending winter. I need to try and replace my my hair clips. And yeah, is Clarity just taking a pinch?
Yeah, just a pinch, just sort of following suit from everybody else.
I'm still gonna have to ask you to make a Constitution save because, but you can have it at advantage. You've been expanding your palette lately.
And forewarned.
Save?
Yep, with
Okay.
advantage.
Okay.
Good thing you had
Good
the
thing.
advantage. Yeah,
18.
Good for advantage.
yeah. For a minute it. Whew. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's a clean, peppery kind of burn, but it's there's a certain amount of linger, but it goes really well with the beef.
Oh, this is delicious. But I see what you mean.
Yeah, it's this lichen that grows up north. I don't know how it ends up that kind of hot, but yeah, it was still in my belt pouch when I went after the dragons, so I still have it, and hopefully running around with these guys will end up back up north at some point, and I can restock. Oh, hello!
Hi.
Oh, cute.
Who's all these scary people, Mommy?
Oh my god, so cute. That is just levels of adorable I was not prepared for.
Yes, I
Me?
think we may have to swivel away from the adorable for a minute because it's a little distracting apparently. Different
Sorry.
no, that's fine. Different than Pim Pim. Adorable distraction, but all the same.
Pretend it's Norman.
Headcanon accepted.
It really is. You do get Alice sort of as dinner is winding up, sort of going. So really, a badger every time, and yes, every time you have ever used the bag of tricks, it's always been Norman.
Always Norman and some other friends. But
Yes, I heard you named them all. That's kind of great.
Yeah.
How are they, by the way? Oh, wait, I forgot.
No, you're
forgot
still
I'm still bunny.
you're
Sorry,
still
never
bunny
mind.
for at least another 20 minutes.
Sorry, forgot.
As
Possibly
dinner conversation has ensued. Ironically, dessert is carrot cake.
I realized this and just kind of get up and then flop over my
Did they do that on purpose?
I don't think so because they're cooking for multitudes. But thanks for playing. As they're sitting down to cake, Flitty returns with note and cookie note in mouth, cookie clenched in claws. Boom.
Shouldn't that be the other way around? No.
Thank you, Flitty. She
The,
reads the
the,
note.
the note is typical excitable Corey. You know, oh, that's wonderful. We're so glad you're back and safe. And of course, you can come to dinner. Do give us an idea of numbers because I know that adventurer parties kind of change around, so we can get some shopping done before the markets close. And if there's any preferences that people have for food, then it finally changes to father's handwriting. We will be very happy to see you, but please do tell us how many we're expecting.
Okay, so we will be stopping by the bakery tomorrow afternoon in leading up to dinner with my parents in the evening.
Thank you, Rami.
Are you sure? We don't want to. I mean, we kind of a big party.
Yes.
I'm going to impose.
Yes, they are very sure. We just need to
Alright.
forewarn them about numbers.
Ava, this is basically Adventurer Central. They're all about that.
Alright.
Yeah, and besides, it's I know it's probably hard for those of us with absent parents, asshole parents, or both. You absent, me asshole, various other people, combination thereof. But Remy has blood parents who actually are good people and they care very much about their daughter pretty clearly. So I think they're very much about anything that lets them know a bit about how their daughter's life is going is absolutely fine by them. So
I guess.
Not that we'll get too detailed about some things,
I
Hazel.
won't say a word. That's on you two.
Not just that, I just don't want them to worry overly much.
Look,
About-
wherever the conversation goes, I'm following it. I'm just not gonna try to not go ahead of it. This
That's all we
Thank
mean.
you. Thank you.
I'm learning.
Alice picks up flopped Darwin Bunny, sets him on bench, and then thinks about it, sets on floor, and a minute later, boom, human.
Welcome back,
hello
Darvin.
again.
Oh. That was interesting.
Hug
Some notes down.
Yeah, well, you're trying to when Darvin hug.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, sorry.
I'm
Yeah, I
waving
can
in the
give
direction of the bar and pointing at Darvin.
I can tell you more of what the whys and wherefores of it, at least as far as we've been able to suss out. I can tell you what was said when it was done and what we figured out if you want later.
Yeah, when dinner was happening, Alice was kind of filling in a little bit for Darvin, telling the stories of the various kills that that she saw them make, and a couple of the ones that she actually made, although she does try to gloss it over a little bit, but probably gets looks, so rolls her eyes and continues. And yeah, it's pretty clear that for all the giant axe and the apparent talk of screaming obscenities while hammering on things, there's actually some bard in there. But yeah.
Darvin was paying attention, so
Mm.
to how things were being said and how things were being put. Making notes, mental note.
As I told you, she's
The image of a bunny writing. That's adorable.
oh, make mental notes.
Mental, hence the mental.
Yeah, I know.
It's
Okay,
like
so
I know I'm already mental, but this was deliberate.
So in
Hopefully
addition
the
to the
mango.
tiny little suit of armor, we need to commission a tiny little quill pen and ink pot.
Hopefully the strawberry occupied is... the mango occupied is now in front of Darvin.
Yes, they basically Jed and Jazz actually turn up, put the mango occupied in front of Darvin, kiss on each cheek, one from Jed, one from Jazz, and whoop, and then and Alice is like, I'll go get your plate.
Ooh, yes, I should eat first. Or at least eat with.
And
Thank
then,
you.
poof. So yeah. Now that most of us are done dinner, maybe a bit of a discussion about some of the more serious stuff. It seemed only right to have Darvin
do we
verbally
want to
capable.
Do we want to do that somewhere little private? Maybe.
This is Belarys. There's not that many places that are.
Well, I was thinking
Yeah,
like one of our rooms or something.
Adventures.
There's like 8 of us. The rooms are not that big.
Ava, again, Adventurer Central.
Right, but we don't want to share too
I'm
much.
sure Hazel will be quiet room voice.
We can
I'll be as quiet as I get.
be better than that. I'm gonna try too. I know who Blabbermouth 1 and 2 are. I'm well aware.
Yeah. So do I.
She said that when you couldn't hear and you don't lip read.
Oh.
You were across the
I
ship.
forgot about that. Sorry.
Scratch
Never
that.
mind. Yeah. Scratch that. Reverse it.
The place where I'm staying that would be big enough, wouldn't it?
It would, but on the other hand, you do also know that that with the exception of the guest bedrooms in which you and Andrea are staying, there's watching.
Oh, okay.
So whatever you say in there could get back to. I mean, you met the guy. He seemed okay, but you don't know where he's going. You don't know what he's doing, and you don't know what he'd do with the kind of information that, from what's already been said, is going to be passed around.
Okay.
At least with adventurers, there's not. If anyone happens to overhear snippets over the rest of the bar noise, there's little chance that they're going to have enough magical oomph to do much of anything with the shit they hear anyway.
Right. Okay.
So anyway, you guys start. I'm gonna. I'm hungry.
Yeah, very quick ancillary thing before before we get into the serious stuff, because I know that you and I have a certain shared connection thing. We found. Well, Nye, do you want to explain? She's big on magic, so she might know a little bit more about what you found in the Temple of Nerul. Because they found that thing that your grumpy cleric of Nerul over in Goldendale was talking about. We found it.
Good.
Grumpy cleric?
Esteban.
Estan.
Or Estan.
At the minute,
Sorry.
Eva like reflexively touches her neck.
Yeah, there was some bullshit.
Remember the chasm, Clarity?
Mm.
That.
Oh.
Although from what I'm hearing, worse.
Yeah, because the chasm was just focused Paler related. This was Nerul. This was an endless dark. Hands and the Ampis Bana
and cold. So much cold.
Yeah, the ice path that basically, if you weren't careful, oh god, was there a dunking?
Yeah, even
Froseth got it.
And he's resistant to that.
Right.
See, he breathes it.
Still, we got out of there. That's the main thing.
Honestly, I thought he was going to have to breathe on Hazel there for a minute.
Anyway, if anybody's going to find out more about what you found, what your patron pointed you at, it's going to be someone with access to that library.
It's in the basement of that temple. We found statues of several people who had, I don't remember the exact wording, but they'd taken an oath or made some sort of deal with Nerul. Basically, their natural death would be delayed until whatever quest they had decided on was complete, at which point their death would catch up with them, and then they would go to serve Nerul directly.
They're called the Deathless.
Thank you.
Oh.
One of the statues was of my cousin, and I can only assume she was seeking me out.
Actually, the what little documents that still were stated as much.
Oh.
Like you were looking for your brother, from what I hear.
Yes, I kind of don't remember all the details. It got blurry there a minute.
Yeah. Basically, from the looks of it, his cousin, when that temple was still a going concern and not abandoned, and we found out why it was abandoned too, by the way. Turns out that much like Baronsveer is run by an ancient, well, by some age of black dragon now. This country was ruled similarly then.
Oh.
And it sounds like the worship of the gods that we normally do was more or less smothered, and the worship of Tiamat was prevalent or possibly mandated. I don't know. Anyway, point is that back in the days when that temple was still active, and we're looking at 400 or 500 years ago now, there were a few things that it looked like that temple did. It brought a painless death to those dying of painful, lingering illnesses. It allowed you to have one last word with your loved ones that had passed. And if your need was great enough and the pledge you made was deemed worthy, you could have your death, your natural death, hidden away until whatever quest you had vowed to complete was completed, or possibly until it was impossible to complete. We don't really know how it works. if I mean, we've done what we can to try and get Nye and his cousin reunited. Because I figure 400 or 500 years, maybe more, depending on how old she was when it started. Probably enough.
So she's still
Given
out
that
there?
The statue's still there.
we're assuming, given that, it wouldn't even have been possible for her to find me until a month, 2 months ago or so,
Something like that.
6 weeks.
From what I hear.
So, yeah, His Majesty, last time I spoke to him, noted something about at least making sure she was on the same continent.
And I've spread the word among the merchants, poets, singers, and anyone else who passes through our
Speaking of the being able to speak with loved ones, Clarity, I don't remember anymore because we've been through so much lately, and it's just kind of slipped. What was your favorite color, out of curiosity?
Points to her hair.
Oh, okay.
You told me that. I even remember that.
Hazel.
Yeah.
You have the bag. And I'm going to reach in the bag and I'm going to try to see if any of the dresses that were left are that color.
There are a few different shades of blue, so each in a different cut. There's a deep midnight blue that's sleeveless, square cut bodice. There's one that's more sort of a powder blue, actual puff sleeve, sort of over the shoulder kind of a deal. One sort of the blue of the cushion behind you, which is just a straight, plain A-line skirt, short-sleeved. A little bit of deeper blue and silver embroidery across the neckline.
You see Clarity's eyes light up a little bit at that last one.
Yeah, I'm holding up that last one actually, going, yeah, and I'll kind of take it all the way out and fold it up and go, here.
Oh, thank you.
Are you sure, darling?
Not to put too fine a point on it, when we were in the temple, I was granted the opportunity to speak to my mom, and so I asked her. With one thing and another, we actually completely forgot to empty out the bags at one point, so they're all the dresses that we picked up are all still in there. So by the time I got to speak to Mom, I remembered they were in there, and I asked her what, if anything, she would like done with them, and she suggested I give one, at least one, to family and your family. So there you go.
And that's when you remember that the rest were supposed to go to Lucy/Constance, and you didn't say anything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I need to send a letter because I screwed up yet again because we left so quick. Anyway.
Are you talking about Lucy, who cleans up at the Tipsy Pixie?
Uh-huh.
I asked Marta to keep an eye on her.
Okay, good. The rest, once I give them, once I've given one to family, the rest are supposed to go to her.
Well, technically, what your mother said was to the little one's still there, so there's a few more still to hand out. There's a lot of dresses in that freaking bag.
Oh yeah, because we cleaned out the entire room. Just if it wasn't nailed down, we took it.
Speaking of things that we got there, well, this is remade, and I'm pulling out the that bracelet that we turned the dagger into, and offering it to Clarity.
What's this?
It's a gold armband actually, rather than a bracelet. It's sort of rubies and sapphires and sort of a silver vine filigree kind of pattern with the stones being looking like flowers.
Oh, this is lovely.
That dagger that we found in Star Coast.
Oh, yes.
While we were in Albert High, I had that redone into that.
Oh, I sort of recognize the gemstones. Yeah.
Well, that's yours now.
Thank you. She puts it on.
Very happy looking, Hazel.
She's sort of patting the dress.
You can, of course, you can alter it however you like, however you need. That was actually part of the reason I picked that one. Of the bunch, it looked the most able to be altered however you might want it to be. So
actually, Darvin remembers that there's also a jewelry piece that goes with that one. It's and it's equally simple. It's a necklace that is part chain, part sort of silver leaf patterns, leading to a sapphire stone in the center. You've got the jewelry as well, because you would have packed all the matching jewelry pieces.
Right, you're absolutely right. Although actually, now that I look at it, hold that thought, and I'll reach in the bag and go ahead and pull out that necklace.
Yeah, well, you'd actually have to pull out the whole jewelry box because.
First, okay.
She rifled when you rifled the room. Clarity looked through the jewelry box, kept everything in the jewelry box, and put the entire jewelry box in the bag.
Okay, then I'll pull out the box and as unobvious as possible, given where we are. I don't want to be opening a box of jewelry in the middle of a bunch of adventurers.
I keep an eye out for any shifty looks. So.
There's not so much shifty looks. There's still the, oh look, he's gone back to human, and still the oh no, she's hot too kind of look.
So I'm kind of leaned over the box like a rabbit eating something, because it's a thing I do now apparently. I don't know. Anyway, open the box, rifle through, rifle. Right. Let's see which. No, not that one. It's the wrong blue. It's the wrong chain. No. There it is. And yes, that's the one. Okay, that goes with it. If you'd like, you can have them both.
Oh.
Yeah, I may not have taken after the family business, as it were, but I still remember the outfits because it was a thing. So yeah, that went with that one.
Clarity doesn't say anything, but just hug.
No.
Okay. Let me close the bag up. Sure. Here, take the bag. Okay, back to food. Okay.
Give him a little pat on the shoulder.
So, Nye, can you make an image of the two things you gave to your patrons, so Clarity can get those into the book?
Silent image. Bad idea number 1. Bad idea number 2.
Bad idea number 1 is more a choker than a pendant. Black velvet with a teardrop-shaped jade piece attached to it. That's the pendant he's clearly talking about, which I may remember he said that he'd felt, I believe that one was that transfiguration one? I'll fill you in later on. And there's a dagger with what you recognize as draconic runes. A more or less plain steel dagger beyond those draconic runes.
Okay. And Clarity's trying to.
Yeah. Of course, she can probably ask Froseth what they say.
Froseth, that's draconic.
What does
do
it
you know
say
what they
again? I
say?
don't
That
actually
that one
remember.
was, it was just rest.
Rest. Right.
Yeah, and on the thing that it was on, it was what was it? God's grant he lies still.
He didn't. He was the what was the dead hen bag with pretensions.
The dead blasphemous handbag with pretensions.
Hi, Pim Pim.
Hi, Pim Pim. Missed you. For real, for real.
And Nye said something about abjuration. When he got himself zapped, he was trying to face off against the thing with the dagger. So I think he thought he might be able to put it back to sleep.
I figured that dagger was supposed to do something, maybe even to that particular, but I realized it a little too late. I've been fighting the way I'd been used to fighting ever since I got the whole, Eldritch thing, get distance and blast it, and I realized, wait a minute, I've got this dagger, maybe I should be up next to it and doink it. Unfortunately, I chose to get up next to it in its face, and it breathed in somehow, and I was like, oh, I'm an idiot.
And then there was a line made of Zappy, and
the next thing I knew, there was a lot of white.
Oh no.
Which was better than a lot of black, anyway.
And a lot of ozone.
Yes.
Oh yes, lots of insalted oxygen.
Yeah, well, I suppose if it had to happen, at least it was lightning, because instead of dropping the dagger, he held on to it tighter. I don't like to think about what his patrons would have done if he'd lost the thing.
Believe me, when I found out that it hadn't just been me that got dropped, it's a good thing His Majesty had already collected it. Otherwise, I would have yeeted it out into the desert.
What's this yeet word? Is that Elvish that I'm not?
Old slang for throwing something in a. Yeah.
Yeah, to be fair, it's not even just Elven anymore. It's and they say it a lot here. I kind of picked it up as a teen and then kind of spread it around Alzor High because I be like that.
Don't worry, Coterie, I wasn't familiar with it.
That's going in my book right next. That's going in my book right next to Tit Nibbler.
It's actually that one is also my fault. But you've got to admit that if you're gonna throw something, it's a really satisfying thing to yell when you're throwing.
I guess.
Try it sometime. Yeet.
It has well, depending on how it's said, it's got a certain amount of derogatory, like oh, get it away from me, like you ain't getting this, It's
yeet.
Yeah, exactly. It's great. I can see it. That's a nice one.
Make a note of it.
Oh, that I definitely missed. Every time you do that, somehow you get cuter.
Yeah, and Hazel knows from cute.
Now.
Just looking at Darvin and slowly turning red again.
Oh yeah, I forgot that was my fault. I'm the one that started that whole thing. It was my idea. You're welcome.
Relax, Hazel.
Anyway, I'll leave it at that.
Leave us simply say that everybody who wanted to have a good time did.
And I got turned into a bunny.
Not in our establishment, you didn't.
No, I did not.
Not at the same time?
No.
I don't think Marta would have known what to do with that. I'm sure she would have thought of something Marta's inventive, but...
Dear Paylor, what?
Oh my god.
I love you, Clarity, and I miss you.
Mhm.
Yeah, they have missed you quite a lot.
I like today. I really like today.
I like today too. I wasn't expecting all of you, and here you are.
Yeah, we're on sort of a day and a half or so stopover, just to re-get our bearings and get unused to the heat before we hit Egreth, because thank you, by the way, you have distracted Hazel from the vibrating stress about home.
Is
Little
there
bit. Still
stress
worried about it.
Oh,
Yeah.
just the usual?
Pretty much, as far as I can tell, something about first Sith got warning, something about the first snowfall.
Mm-hmm.
Besides that it's also tax season, and
No,
that is...
no, Hazel. Remember,
That's
you
later.
guys already you guys already did the taxing.
Yeah, we did, but I was worried it might be wrapping back around.
Well, it could be if the situation is what you guys have been saying it is. There's nothing to stop a king from declaring that they wanted taxes at the end of the harvest as well as at the start. So
Yep.
but we arranged for a day to visit, family and do some stuff. I've got some shopping to do, and I'm gonna stop at Arcane Inc. because
I also need to go there. We have a coupon.
have you
I should probably-
have you guys decided who's gonna get the what yet?
I still really would like Dimension Door or flying.
Sounds like it depends on how much gold we have to spare.
Yeah, because those, if Hazel probably doesn't remember, but the coupon you have is not going to cover either of those. At this point, I'm more or less mandating you're looking at something a little less
Beefy.
Yeah, I was going to say puissant, but
I should probably find someone to neaten up my hair.
I mean,
I think
I can if anyone's got a dagger I can borrow.
Probably do a better job than I did in a hurry.
Come on,
I have one here.
You could use my dragon tooth dagger.
I think I'll save that for. I think I'll let you save that for. It's if you're gonna if you have a dagger. It's a northern thing. If you have a dagger, the first time you use it, really use it, should be for the use to which you want to normally put it. So unless you want that to be a haircut dagger for the rest of eternity, save it for a death blow.
Fair enough.
And meanwhile,
And
Have my
I've got plenty
dagger.
tossed.
Oh yeah, and actually shows her axe, which has a very similar look to it. Apparently, these were made around the same time.
Oh.
And that's why that thing looks familiar.
Yeah, I'll let them explain to you approximately why I have one of those, while I take him outside so I don't get hair all over their tidy table.
Yeah, and I want to swing by Arcane Inc. myself, just to say hello.
Is our bard getting around? Is her parting shot as she nudges an eye outside.
He said it was cute.
You're adorable.
You are cute.
I'm also very inspirational.
In both
Yes.
forms.
Exactly. I've not forgotten that. It's actually one of the few things that makes turning into a bunny not quite so bad.
He hits maximum inspiration for a few hours every day.
Yeah.
So to speak. Or not, as the case may be. The bunnies can scream, though, come to find, I think.
If that's happening, that's a bad sign.
But at
Nye,
least I can make some noise if need be.
while these guys are having their conversation, and Alice is tidying up your hair, which, to be fair, is kind of haphazard.
Scraggly looking.
Make me a perception check. Please roll well. She didn't.
Oh no.
Oh boy.
Mm.
15.
You just about catch a glimpse of someone on a rooftop, right around the point that a barrel that, if you judge the angle right, if it had been like an inch or two to the right, it would have gone straight through Alice's head, just explodes. What the fuck?
Do we hear that inside?
Perception checks from y'all, because it actually at disadvantage. It's loud in there.
Okay.
Because this for you guys don't recognize this. You guys wouldn't recognize the sound. But for a sound reference for Nye, that's a gunshot.
13.
Oh shit.
3 for me.
5.
Oh,
Oh.
No, you'll hear nothing. You're muted.
7.
There was somebody up on the roof over there.
Okay, and at which point, hands
What
Nye.
about Flip?
Actually, Flitty went back to the bakery to tell how many people are supposed to be coming for dinner. So basically, Alice goes, "All right then." Hands Nye Ash, pulls her axe. Out go the wings. And you guys, with the really crappy perception rolls, first Seth kind of notices that it's got a little bit brighter out there, but that could just be that they're lighting street lamps. And it goes after. So honestly, at this point, Nye, roll initiative.
Oh no.
Dios mio, this has gone crazy in about.
I mean,
0.3
even if it is noisy, you'd think a gunshot we'd sort of notice something.
Not the
No.
it's not that loud unless you're up
No.
close.
Another
no.
15.
Having actually been within quite a distance of it's gunshots are actually not as loud as you think. I just say I lived in New York for a long time.
Like, it's loud, but it's a very different kind of loud, and the city will drown it out.
I
Like,
hadn't.
if you ever heard a car backfire, it's very similar.
Right.
Okay, I haven't actually set up a street for this, so we're just gonna have to let's see what I have in terms of my old maps. Maps.
So we're just outside, or
Yeah, we
some
are.
distance
We
away?
are. We're well. Basically, you're a little ways back. Okay, that wasn't entirely what I was expecting. So. This'll do. Because honestly, I was kind of hoping to wait so that we didn't necessarily stick Clarity into combat, but when Nye was talking about his hair, it was too good to pass up. So yeah, you'll have.
Does anyone like who's right outside right near the door hear any?
Not that you're aware of. It's a tavern. Most people mind their own fucking business.
Right.
We know nothing.
Yeah, I know that you'd very much like to be to be aware, but right now the only people who are
Alice and
yeah,
Nye.
they're the ones who are outside. So okay. At least this is giving this is giving Nye a minute to figure out what he's gonna do, because in all technicality, he is going first. But first I will actually position y'all so Alice is right about there-ish. Yeah, this is the tavern. And Nye is right about there. So yeah, I mean, Alice has actually in the process of moving up to rooftop, so she's out there. Oh, yeah, let's narrow in a little bit. So, okay, Nye.
I'm still seeing the inside of the tavern.
Oh, sorry, I forgot to. It's been a while since I've had to move player mid. Okay, so there we go. There we go. Yep.
Weren't they right next?
Well, basically, tavern is there. Nye is right next to tavern there. Alice moved. Wings. She can do that.
Right.
Okay, Nye goes first.
So basically, I don't see anything else. I don't know anything else. I'm just standing here in the street next to like exploded barrel, and Alice has taken off.
Yep, you have dagger in hand, and yeah, at the moment, and that's all you're seeing at present, anyway.
Okay. So, 1 second, let me... Okay. So I think the smartest thing I can possibly do here is call for help. So I'm going to duck back inside.
Okay.
Everyone's still gathered around the table?
Yeah, Nye has barged back into the tavern.
Has it been?
Wait, what's the matter?
Whoa.
He has...
Wait, where's...
Oh no. Oh no.
Something
is wrong. And I'm bolting out the door.
Remy is also putting on her helmet and bolting out the door.
Okay,
Yes.
well, did that... Holy crap.
Bow in hand following.
Alice, really?
And sort of right back out the door and like stepping to the side so I don't impede the flow of people out the door.
Yeah, you guys come out, which I'll deal with momentarily. And about enough time to see, wings are out.
Glowing.
And yeah, all the glowy, all the shiny, all the
Need a freaking street now.
yeah, and apparently hammering on somebody on a roof. Not raging apparently yet, but has done a significant amount of damage to this individual who is apparently posted on the roof. Unfortunately, while you guys are doing that, few other individuals have turned up around the corner, and I'm basically just having to grab whatever happens to be handy. So that's one.
They're on the floor, ground level.
Yeah, these guys are just turning the corner of the. So that's 1, 2, 3. And you can't see that one yet, but they are there.
Oh, goody. It's the welcoming committee.
Are they after... We don't know if they're after us or something else, though.
Well,
that's because Nye has said nothing.
Do they look like they're coming at us with intent?
Well, you can see Alice is hammering on one of them with an axe, and this individual has apparently taken a shot at her with what very much appears to be one of those weapons you saw the guys who had evacuated the airship with. So, as you can probably tell, there is something of an issue right now. Okay, so... Oop.
Did the whole running in and out thing use up my turn, or do I still have an action?
Yeah, that pretty much used up your turn, because you did actually you had to spend a minute sort of waving at people and offering zero in the way of explanations whatsoever.
Well, I wasn't going to scream across the tavern, but I was thinking of using silent image to do something in the middle of the table if people weren't looking in my direction, but
you barge in when people know. They did tidy. She did finish tidying your hair just about before everything went kerboom. Anyway, so okay, now everybody else roll initiative.
The woe is half at the hair, half at the difference in the hair, and half at the look in your face. So there you go.
1, 2, 3.
All right.
14.
I got 14 on initiative.
Jesus
20.
4.
21
Oh.
for me.
Holy shit.
Ouch, process.
Whoa!
Nat 20.
Whoa!
Nat 20.
Somebody doesn't have to use their.
Yeah, I don't have to use my advantage.
Process for all the pipe.
Even though I said it, I did click advantage, but it only rolled once. But anyway, I guess it doesn't work on initiative rolls.
It should. I set it to do so, but.
Don't know. But hey, it's a nat 20, so
maybe
I don't
the
think I'll
first
be
one's a
rolling
20,
again.
so it didn't bother.
Right? Actually, that might be.
So,
Hang on.
Yep.
Because this changes the initiative order a lot. Okay. Top of the round, Darvin.
Okay. So what I'm gonna do is on the first one there. That one right there. He's right next to Clarity, right? Basically.
More or less, although she could technically be back there. I just put people where they fit, frankly.
Right. Okay. Okay. In that case, that's gonna change what I do, but not in a significant way. What I will do is I'm going to. Okay, and I'm right there. Okay. So then, yeah, I'm gonna just say, "Hey, Clarity, I learned a new thing," and I'm gonna go and I just, smack the drum really hard, really sharply, and then fling the hand out, and it's gonna be magic missile, level 2.
To whom? Which target?
On that one right there.
Okay.
So let me, where's that? Oh, there it is. Clicking. Whoops. Oh, I thought it was going to do the thing where it asked me what level, but I'll just click it again for the second.
No, but because it is a first level spell. No, I didn't get around to fixing that because remember migraine ridden the last week.
My bad. Yeah, I forgot. I apologize. Well, yeah. Anyway. So there, 4 and 5.
Okay, so.
I kind of took a page from your book, throwing with the daggery throwy stuff, except it's sound and magic and me.
Magic missile, awesome.
Okay, bonus action.
Bonus action. Let's see. Given how far Alice is, well, she's probably fine. Given where Remy is, I am going to. Let's see. Actually, no. I'm going to hold my bonus action.
You can't hold a bonus action.
Sorry, I meant I'm not going to use it.
You're going to skip your bonus action, okay?
Yeah, I'm skipping my bonus action just in case. I have ideas.
Okay, the individual who Darvin hit with magic missile is understandably a little bit miffed about all this, but does actually use up their action, basically yelling, "We're not here for you! Don't get involved!" Anybody have any response before?
You made us get involved by attacking a friend of ours. So state your business.
So you're protecting the abomination.
Stop it, asshole!
Remy just roars.
Better than you by him.
Holy fuck!
Wide margin.
Yeah, actually, and funnily enough, it's Ava's turn.
That abomination, as you call it, is my friend. Hunter's mark, firing.
Okay, go forth.
I am pissed. You do not mess with Ava's friends. Let me see. Do I do the shot first? Yeah, do the shot first.
Yep, because you've declared Hunter's mark. You're fine.
Yeah. Longbow.
Roll damage.
4 plus Hunter's mark. 5.
Okay, second shot.
And 2.
Damn!
Roll damage.
Oh, I am pissed. So damage. Damage.
And Hunter's mark.
8. So 5 and 8, 13.
Yeah, actually, this guy between magic missile and 2 arrows in sensitive bits of mismatched armor, but not actually looking overly well. Clarity! Basically, you've been back with these guys like 2 hours, and already shit's getting fucked.
We're already in a fight.
I expected
Welcome to
as
old
much.
times.
So I'm going to get within 30 feet of the one that Alice is beaten on.
5, 10 feet. You are within 30 feet.
Yeah.
Okay. Just wasn't sure because of the angle of
Yep.
the height. And I will throw my acid dagger.
Roll damage.
21.
Wow.
That guy's about to regret his life choices.
8 piercing, 1 acid, and I'm assuming that's sneak attack damage.
It is, but you don't need it because but given the mess she'd already made of him, dagger right in the eye. Thank you.
Get that from Alice. Say nice.
You're welcome. And from the cat, apparently.
The
You
cat
have
is
the
cheering
cat's
us on.
approval. The
Actually,
cat's
you do.
approval.
Yeah, at this stage, I don't remember. I don't remember if it's 5 or 6 that you get a second attack, but because just about everybody else does, go for it.
I have a bonus, yeah. Bonus
Well,
attack.
yeah, but usually the reason that it's dagger is partly boots of haste and partly that you get 2 attacks at either level 5 or level 6, and everybody else here, if they're using a weapon, gets 2 attacks.
Okay.
And because
So
Ava's only level 5, and you're still at level 5 because you're at the level of the lowest level individual in the group. At the moment, take a second shot, not counting your bonus action.
Okay. I will.
I mean, that has blown your sneak attack, but grateful battle angel up on the roof over there.
Yeah. Okay. I will. I guess I'll take the guy. And come up to the guy next to me.
The one that
Yeah.
the one that they've been firing at. Sorry, are you engaging in melee or are you throwing daggers?
I'll get within melee.
Okay, we move you, Bink.
I thought that one was the one that was already dead.
No, that one is the one that's already dead.
The one that was up top is the
Oh,
one that kinda...
nice shot then.
Well,
I will use.
basically already most of the damage had been done by
Right.
extra radiant, extra ice, and battle axe, but she very much finished it off very well. Anyway, continue.
Okay. Poison dagger.
Okay.
17.
Ooh, just misses. You manage. It scrapes off the bonus action.
Acid dagger again.
Just
17.
misses. Damn. Yeah, you're unfortunately you've kind of lost the knack of. I mean, you aimed for the eye on the one that wasn't wearing the plate, but this one's got a shield and at least half plate armor, so a little bit difficult. Okay. At which point, the individual over here, seeing that we've got a bit of an issue with a Darwin, pulls a bow and starts shooting.
Oh, no, you don't.
Miss. Badly missed. Nope, Darwin gets lucky. The arrows boom, past him.
And past the rest of us, I hope.
Yeah,
I
pretty
was
much.
gonna say.
Yeah. Nye.
Hey, you shoot like my dead uncle. I don't even have an
All
uncle.
right. All right. I'm going to take a step down next. Well, one step down and left, one step over, and get right up next to the vocal one, right there.
Okay, Bink.
And Pact Blade out front emphasis. And I'm going to say something along these lines. If you think that my friend there is an abomination, you should see who I serve. Back off, go home, and forget you were ever here.
That's
Stay
an
present.
Oh.
Nice.
Okay, can you?
Good.
If I can actually figure out how to make roll 20, put it in the line. There we go.
Okay, hang on. I was about to look it up.
It's
A wisdom saving throw. Nice.
Against
but it's all
13. Against 13.
except it also hits.
No,
It's-
that's the
It's a 10-foot cube, so hang on.
that's why I went up right
10,
next to him.
10, 10. Yeah, he can do it. He'll still only hit the one person.
Oh.
So that's a 13. Oop.
Can you-
Damn. Sorry.
Ah!
Just made it. Just made it.
Damn. I keep misfiring on the cool moments.
Great try there, great try.
I mean, he's
It was.
This little bitty back, like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Still, what?
Which point the point is made ever so slightly moot by 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. There we go. Basically, the abomination in question swoops down like the wrath of the frickin' gods.
Mm-mm.
Okay, so
Someone's gonna get
that's...
Gallaghered all over the floor.
And for once, Darwin just goes in a steady note. Praise Pelor.
Yeah, this one, the vocal one ends up with head missing.
Should have listened to me.
Was that the one I'd hunters marked? Or was that another one?
that was-
Yeah, it was. So your hunter's mark will have to be moved.
Yep.
Shifts over to that one for second attack. Still not raging, by the way. There are reasons for. Oh my God, Alice! What the fuck?
Pop the
You
other guy's
rolled
head off,
another
didn't
nat
you?
20, didn't you?
Yes. The last one I didn't. This one I did.
So this is another guy whose head's just about to leave his body and float away.
Yeah, that one kind of. That one kind of. Yeah, no. That one just wonk. She just cuts him in half. And
He just imitated Spurt.
pretty much. At which
Yeah.
point she turns around, looks at Remy, and essentially does what we would call a sort of a battle rap thing. You're not gonna take this from these pups, so be the alpha bitch I know you are and fuck shit up! And you get 1d6 inspiration die.
Whoa.
Alright.
Hello, Barbarian.
Yeah. That's a cool combo though.
just shows up and battle raps at her.
Speaking of
great
which,
combo.
Remy, it's your turn!
Our convenience.
Okay, so Remy can't see that dude in the alley over there, so
There's three behind you.
yeah, then there's just 3 behind her. So it's
Yeah,
5, 10,
movement's gonna
15,
be an
20.
issue.
Can
Of course,
she
you do
reach
have,
the-
not quite. You do have other
Okay.
options.
Then she will Misty Step,
Okay, where
which
to?
gets me as close as she can.
Okay,
It's
so
up to 30 feet.
all of a sudden, Archer has Paladin in their face.
Up in face.
And then
Angry
she
Paladin!
will...
Angry Paladin.
Yeah, it's very angry paladin.
I'm just hearing Steve Irwin in my head. Oh, she's angry. She's angry. Oh,
That's a Scottish. You're trying to do. Steve Irwin is rolling in his grave.
And then she will divine smite as she slashes at him.
I'm giving.
17.
I'm pausing. What just happened?
Mm-hmm.
What did Alice just do?
She gave her the inspiration. Okay. Now roll a d6.
Thank the gods, because he would have missed it by one.
Go inspiration.
Roll damage.
Mhm.
Well, technically speaking, we don't know that guy, but we do know the one guy that dropped.
And then
2 dudes.
smite.
Like
2.
Damn!
Jeez.
Yeah, this individual is not in very good shape at all. They're barely holding on at this point. So okay.
That would
Hazel.
be me next. Okay. Shield goes. Okay. Shield's on my back. Spear's on my back. I'm pulling out the hammer. Bonus action boots of haste. And beelining it to right about there.
Nope. Okay.
And I'm gonna take my 2 attacks at this guy.
Which one?
The caped dude.
Go forth.
Hammer 1. Whiff.
Very badly whiff.
Hammer 2. Also whiff. They're just
Slightly less whiffed this time. The first one, Remy actually had to duck a little bit to make sure it didn't hit her in the head.
And that's my turn. I'm still at AC 18 because of this.
Okay. And that's when the fact that you are directly in people's faces, becomes a problem. So yeah, pained archer guy drops bow, goes after Remy with dagger, scrape across the shield, scrape across the shield again. The one dealing with Hazel with. Ooh, that one hits.
That's
well, I was gonna use a I was. I guess I should. Never mind. I should have said sooner.
You should have. Well, I mean, I admit I tend to go a little bit fast at this point, but I mean, particularly given we're gonna run late.
Yeah. So
But-
I'm just gonna not.
No, do you want to use cutting words? Roll it.
I was
We'll
going
see.
to. Yes. Okay.
Next time, don't just go cutting word.
Okay.
Just blurt, okay?
Gotcha.
In terms of cutting word, you have to.
Gotcha. Okay. Not anyway. Cutting word.
Let's roll 1d8 and we.
Okay. Oop! Damn it! Hold on. I missed the slash. 2.
Still hits.
Damn! Where's the shot? Oh well.
And what do you say as cutting words? Come on, you can't just.
I wasn't gonna. Oh god, I lost it. You swing like a kobold.
Unfortunately, yeah, this guy apparently wants to prove you wrong. Unfortunately, they rolled a 19. And they're a
Ouch.
+2 with this one's AC at 18, so
Oh, so close.
so very, very close. So
I'll
let's
be
see.
fixing that next round.
Though it was still good to do because it I think it would have voided a natural 20.
In any case, that is 12 points of slashing damage.
I can take it.
And the last one moves forward, and they've also got the knives out for Hazel.
Yeah.
Oh, that's another hit.
Jesus Christ, your dice!
They're only just hitting, but they're hitting.
Sorry, Hazel. I tried.
That one thankfully misses, but that's 14 points of slashing damage.
Where are you at?
Ow, asshole!
Froseth!
Guess the only one I can really get to up in the north there is the, well, former archer one.
5, 10, 15, 20,
I've got 45 feet
25.
of mute.
Yeah, you're fine. You can technically get to any of them.
Okay.
But we'll move you there. But
We'll start with that one and see if I need to move further to hit more.
Can I yell something really quick?
you
No,
want.
do I have to wait my turn?
No, yelling imprecations is a free action. So what? While
Oh.
he's
Leave one alive!
It's a good idea.
So 22
Now
I
you
assume
tell me!
hits.
roll damage.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one wasn't doing so good anyway. Yeah, that's probably not gonna be the one you leave alive, given that that's the one Remy damn near eviscerated.
If he kills them all like usual, there's one down here we can sit on.
So is that one dead or?
That one you managed to. I mean, they were close to bleeding out anyway, and all you
Okay.
managed to do is finish.
So I'll
them.
move up basically to attack the next one. That's a miss.
That is a miss.
Flurry of blows. For some reason, oh, yes, it did. Wait. 23 hits.
Damage. Okay.
And last attack.
Oh! Monk MVP! Kicking it again!
Monk MVP, so that's.
Hey,
I
I had
do
some
what I
pretty good
can.
rolls too.
You did, yes.
you did.
Yes,
very
you
much
did.
so. Yeah.
Top of the round, Darvin.
Okay. At this point, Darvin plays again some quick sharp notes, and then the one here, that one there.
Caped dude.
Yeah. It hasn't been very nice to meet you, Cloud of Daggers.
Nice. Nice.
No, I literally wrote. I have my sheet with like, what do I do when I cast each spell? It literally says knife pun. For Cloud of Daggers.
Did I include a clicky button for that?
Oh, I forgot about the clicky button. Let me see if there is one there. No.
Okay, so
So-
click on the spell so I can see what it does
Right.
and whether there's a save or anything. Because it's been a while since you've been able to use that one. Okay, so roll 4d4.
Okay.
Ouch. Ooh, nice.
That's some good rolls. Just a smidge above average. Nice.
Okay. That one's dead. Ava.
Well, the other two at the top don't seem like they're gonna. The two at
You
the
broke
top
up.
don't look. The two at the top don't look like they're gonna last long.
Not at this point, no. But you
I'm
can-
gonna move
you can-
down, but between Alice and Clara.
Because I did yell about there being one down there.
I'm not even
Yeah.
sure he can. He doesn't really have line of sight on that.
Well,
Because the
Sorry.
building's
Mine.
there. Oop. Yeah, the building's there, and this is only the space you control. You're kind of in the middle of that space, so you're not seeing around that corner. So please ignore that. You don't know anyone's around that corner yet.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll just move my hunter's mark to which one looks hurt.
They're actually more or less even, but guy with the sword here probably looks worse.
I'll move my hunter's mark to Cape Dude.
Okay.
And shoot. Or would I risk hitting the
No,
others?
let's say not for the time being. I mean, if you roll a 1, all bets are off, as Clarity knows to her pain. But
that was why my reaction. I was just like, "You'll be fine as long as you didn't roll a 1."
That 20.
And pulls off a nat 20. Holy crap!
Roll damage.
Bravo fucking vo.
6.
With
Plus
Hunter's Mark?
9.
9 all told.
Okay, not looking
First
overly
shot.
well, but still alive.
Second shot. 25.
Roll damage.
Damn it, Christmas!
6.
Hunter's Mark.
11.
Right through the eye. Thunk.
Go Eva!
Clarity.
Do I see this person?
No.
Okay.
Because you're on the same line as Nye.
Okay. I guess I'll sort of position myself within 30 feet of that last guy up there.
5, 10, 15, 20. Yeah, so you're gonna have to move about there. Ish. Go forth. I think she froze.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, there we go.
Okay, there you go.
Oh.
And you click twice, rolled the same thing both times, and still missed.
I was like, yeah, so 12.
No, that misses.
No.
Hazel has to duck.
Sorry. Poison dagger, 22.
Roll damage.
That's better.
Hooray. 9 piercing, 1 poison,
Yeah, not looking
And-
overly well, but still
and
standing.
sneak attack.
No,
Does he
because
do-
you attacked you threw the first time, it missed.
Oh,
They will have to have seen
okay.
a dagger going by.
All right. So 10 damage.
Not looking well at all. Nye.
Oh wait, I've got a bonus action.
Oh, sorry, bonus action.
Ask dagger again, and that didn't work.
Okay, Nye.
Since I don't know about the guy in the alley, 1 second scrolling through the book here. These are 5-foot squares.
Yes. Except keep in mind that the squares as you see them on that map don't correspond with the squares as they actually are, because I had to grab a map on the fly.
Okay, so I'm gonna move up sort of between Ava and Darwin,
Figured. There you go.
and hold person on this guy.
Okay. Can you put up the spell card for me?
Trying to do it. Clicky. No. Oh, cast at what level? Which, it's a level 2 spell, so...
Wisdom save, huh? Okay. And it's 13? your spell save DC?
Yeah.
Nope. Bonus action?
None.
Okay. Alice, meanwhile, seems to be focused on something completely different. And
And
in her case, it's... Which point you just, a slight pause for thought, and, how about you fuck off? And there's this boom that Darvin recognizes.
Uh-oh.
That's
another boom.
Thunderwave.
Yeah.
Why was there another boom?
And there's also, in among that boom, the sound of someone hitting a wall.
Hey! Carter! That
What?
sounds like that's like what I did when I smacked Carter. That's Thunderwave and the sound of a body hitting a wall.
Do we see anything?
You don't see anything, but that heard.
Obviously, there's another one.
At least one more.
Well, I only heard one meaty thud. There's a phrase I didn't think I'd use today.
Take care of that one. I'll keep this one pinned down.
Gotcha.
Got it. Thank you.
Just one down that way?
She does not dignify that with a reply.
Yeah, that's what she said.
Remy.
Remy is out of slots to hold person. Oh well, Remy is gonna swing at. Actually, yeah, Remy is going to
Well, you
swing at him.
You have
with
someone
reckless
who's prone right now.
Take him out. We've got one.
Yeah, okay, Remy will swing.
At 20.
You know, given the amount of hit points this individual does not have, how do you want to do this?
Remy steps up closer. Club. If he's trying to lean up, she clubs him with the bottom of her shield, and then turns her sword down and jabs it through his chest.
Yeah, you guys watch as Remy basically rams shield under this guy's chin to draw him back a little bit, and before he falls over backwards, shunk, right through the chest.
Boom. Tunk. Nice 1-2 maneuver.
Well, not so much boom, not forward, but up. So up and back. So it's impossible to tell whether it was the blow through the chest or a broken neck that did for this guy, but this guy was did for. Yes. Meantime, Alice is grappling what appears to be a woman, more or less keeping her face in the cobblestones. I think this one might be able to cast magic, so trying to keep her from talking.
Heading
For
over
now.
in that direction.
Are we out of initiative?
We're out of initiative now, yes.
Okay, I'm casting Charm
Remy,
Person on that one.
Okay, yeah, we're clearly going to run over a little bit, but can you put the spell card up so I know what I'm rolling?
Yeah.
Hey, Nye, Isn't
It's a wisdom save, but we have been fighting it, so I'm guessing it does so
Well,
with it.
you
it
you
does.
haven't been fighting it.
Yeah.
Alice has.
So,
What's your spell save DC?
15.
Fails. Sort of. Help.
And is Nye still holding Clarity's dagger?
Probably yes.
Well, I'm asking Ben.
I suppose, yeah.
Okay, well then I'm Darwin probably since we're right next to each other, he's probably going to be like, "Ooh, hey, I think you should probably return that to Clarity."
Oh.
Yeah.
But probably when she's done talking to this person who's, Alice is being a little less harsh about it, but still keeping help. Ow.
So it's good seeing you again. We've been friends for these past many years. So what are you and your buddies here doing here? I mean, it's funny to see you like this in an alleyway.
Well, a job's a job. I, I mean, I didn't know that you were friends with the one the boss calls the Abomination.
Well, I mean,
We'd probably Jack tried to leave you out of it.
oh, I'm sure you did. But you know, I mean, I've been called an abomination many times. She's not, you know, an abomination. Let's not be using those sorts of words. And who are you working for again?
John and Alyssa Fairfield. And you see Alice rolling her eyes in the way that can only mean that's her parents.
Oh, great.
Where are they?
It just shrinks back a little from... Because he's not charmed on this one.
Well, where are they? I mean, we'd like to have a talk and make all of this misunderstanding go away.
Well, I don't know where they are right this second because I'm not clairvoyant, but they have a base of operations. In the street doesn't even really have a name, but you know the one. It's where people go for a smoke of something a little more than tobacco. And yeah, she's talking about 420 East Main.
Oh no, that place.
I remember that.
Right. Okay. Do we need anything else from this guy?
Girl, but
Girl.
I think we got what we need to know.
What we need to know, yeah, but then there's the issue of, I mean, are we going right now? Because,
That's up to you.
Not really, because when this individual is a little less charmed by your adorable friend here, what's the first thing they're gonna do?
Go after
Run
charmer.
Warn them, right?
Ava's got it right. She's gonna warn them.
Right.
Unless we convince her it's probably not in her best interest to stay in the middle of this.
Well, it only lasts an hour.
Yeah, the charm won't work once the spell fades.
I mean, not charmed convince her, but just say, hey, and now I'm talking to the person. It's like, you saw, what happened to your friends there. You see what we can do. You sure you want to be in the middle of this? Or do you just want to kind of lay low for a while? Kind of get out of it.
Fade out.
Roll me persuasion.
Because technically, did she see them? Because it was all at an angle. But she probably heard it, I guess.
She heard and probably had at least some indication of who the Abomination came in with.
Yikes.
Right. Ooh.
That's a 7.
That's not very persuasive.
Yeah, which point... Yeah, but what am I supposed to... I mean, they're not exactly pleasant, but a girl's gotta make a living.
I step forward. You have a choice. Either you just leave and keep what you told us from reaching undesirable ears, and we let you leave with your life. Granted that everyone agrees with that. Or if you try and warn them in any way, you'll lose your life. It's entirely your choice.
Intimidation.
Ooh.
With advantage, because you do kind of have a knife on them. And it's made of dragon
Yes, I
tooth.
did have my dagger in my... Yeah. Let's see, intimidation. Here we are. Charisma. I'm not super charismatic, but let's try. Advantage.
At least it was with advantage.
Yeah.
However, they did roll a natural 1. So, Alice sort of takes her out of the arm lock and running for the airship docks as fast as her legs can carry her. Well, that'll give me a chance to recharge the wings before we go after. I am so sorry. I
It's
told
alright.
you so.
Apologize for.
It's not your fault.
I told you
They're
so.
dicks. They're dicks.
Didn't expect that quite so soon, but
Yeah.
Well, I notice I've been getting looks all day, and I asked the guy at I asked the guy at the food bar what the fuck, and apparently there's songs.
Yeah, I've been hearing them quite a
Why?
lot. The
They're
past-
singing about the dragon thing.
Yeah.
wow, news
Apparently.
travels fast.
Apparently.
Well, given that the thing was a rescue from an airship crew, they would have had to have found a new airship to be working on, and it was probably headed right here. You know how fast airships travel.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I think that's probably enough for one night. I won't blame you if you, and looking at Clarity, I won't blame you if you don't want to come and deal with my frickin' parents. And you've got books and
Yeah, I mean, I have other obligations.
I know it's like
Question mark?
like I say, I totally get it, and the stuff they're asking you to research and the thing with your family, way more important. And you were mega helpful. Thank you, by the way. That was pretty awesome.
No problem.
Everything they said about you, absolutely. But you know, obviously, if the stuff you need to work through is way more important. After the egg ref thing, we're heading straight back to Hazel's place, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's
And
one of
That
the...
was the plan.
anything you learn, send it there. You're cool. And you know, thanks. And
Oh.
it really was great to meet you after everything I've heard.
Great to meet you, and you too, Eva.
It was nice meeting you.
They're in reasonably good hands.
I see that.
I can't exactly protect them from like dragon laser face as Hazel puts it, but most everything else usually. Although Hazel, you really need a good night's sleep. And she puts a hand on Hazel, and you get 7 hit points back.
Oh, right. I'll cure wounds as well.
Well, to be fair, the wounds are now actually closed, and you're coming
Oh.
on to a long rest, so
Okay.
you can use the spell slot if you want, but it's not as important as it might be.
Right.
But she's just got the 7 hit points to pass on to someone. So you see healing with no words, no nothing, just tap and the wounds start to close. It's another part of what I do, as well as these. She points to the wings, which then into glowing feathers and disperse. Ta-da! Right, I think another round of drinks and then actual soft, comfy bed. That sounds like a really good thing for a variety of reasons right now.
Wary eye from now on, 'cause that's
Yeah.
Do my best. Anyway, what do you think of the haircut? It's actually it's a short kind of punky do, but she's left as much of the length as she could.
Very nice.
Good.
Yeah,
That's
it's
good.
some great work. Clarity, uh, say hi to say hi
Yeah,
to
hug
Norman for me.
He's back in the bar, actually.
Oh, I didn't see
He's
you
he's
pull out.
actually pawing at the window.
Scrabble, 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 scrabble. Oh,
Actually,
clarity.
um,
If
oh, go ahead.
this has got like a 50-50, I don't know if this would work, but can I stay at your place because I still need to hug Andre?
God no. You're not allowed guests.
Okay. I'd love to have you, but I'm not allowed guests.
Nah.
I'll
Worth a
tell her
shot.
that you're in town, though.
Well,
mean-
hug her for me too, would you?
Okay.
And I'm gonna hug Clarity.
Group hug on the Clarity.
Alice is just kind of standing back.
Yeah,
And
it was
letting
sort of
the-
staying.
You can get hugs too.
No,
Equal
this-
opportunity.
it's appreciated, but I think I'm gonna leave this for the people who've been through a little more hell than this with you. Now
He kind of shovels a foot, then joins in.
but to be fair, once the hug is done, you should go because we're gonna have to. When we're having that drink before bed, we're probably gonna have to answer questions from the guard and whoever you're working for. I don't figure they're gonna want that on
Yeah.
attached to their employee.
We don't want to get in trouble or anything.
She does
I wipe
offer a
off my
hand.
daggers
Yeah,
kind of quickly.
she does offer a hand to Clarity to shake. Apparently, it takes a while for her to warm up to you, but she will one day probably. Nah. I'm sure we'll send goodbye notes or something before we head off from Belarys. But good luck and don't study yourself into the ground, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll try.
And yeah, obviously let this Andre know that her sister's back in town. I'm sure she'll start hovering or something. Sisters seem to be like that.
You'll
Anyway,
like our home.
Shoo. Shoo, quick,
And,
quiet, and as stealthy as we all know you can be.
Yes. Since you're headed back to Goldendale, say hi to the family for me.
You got it.
Of course.
Give buy Condor some squidgy bears.
We'll be done.
All right.
Yeah, we by the way had it so that Clarity actually sent a letter explaining to Candor why she wasn't gonna be coming back with the rest of them because that kind of got glossed over. And because we are well past that time, we'll leave Clarity to melt into the shadows and away from guardsman attention. And thank you very much. It was great seeing you again.
Yeah, it was really nice.
Yeah, it's great seeing you guys.
God, I missed
And
this.
the next time they happen to be passing through Belarys, which they're gonna have to do at some point in a while after some of the nastiness at Baronsvere is done, they're going to be passing through on their way up north, so we'll see if you're available for again. But for the time being, hello to the family, and thank them for letting us have your attention for a few hours. And everybody else will see you in 2 weeks' time for rest of Adventures in Belarys.